Hi everybody, welcome back, and today I'll be filming another Q&A video. This is one of my most favorite videos to film because I don't know, I feel it's a little bit more spontaneous and I can sit down, relaxed, hair not done, and just, wearing my spectacles because I need to read. And just chit chat with you. So I posted a picture on my Instagram and a lot of you gave some questions, and some of them I was like, interesting question, I should think about it. But some of them I haven't read yet, so it's gonna be really spontaneous as I go through them. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, my name is Kat. I normally do handbag luxury reviews. I also do makeup videos. I do anything luxury actually. I've got a problem. And anyway, for everyone else, let's get to this video. So I decided not to do my hair because I am going to go for a haircut. It is 4 o'clock right now, my haircut's at 5, so I've got 1 hour to film this video. If I can't finish in an hour, then I'll break it into 2 parts. Yeah, so I decided that I need a little bit of a haircut. My hair grows really fast at the side here, so it goes out like this. And my top just comes out, I don't know. This is a bad haircut, okay? So I need to get him to fix it a little bit before the new year and the Christmas and all that, so... Start from the top. Klong Klong. Hi Kat, are you interested in vintage bags? I purchased my first one from eBay, Fendi Baguette. And what are your thoughts about the Fendi Montresor? Okay, so I am interested in vintage bags. I have another Instagram friend who has many beautiful Chanel vintage bags, and he really inspired me to check to look for one online. He managed to find quite a good selection of these vintage bags with the 24K gold plating on the hardware. So it's really intriguing. It's just that I'm really bad at doing eBay research. I purchased my first LV eBay purchase. What am I saying? I've purchased my first eBay bag in an LV Neo Speedy, and I think I paid a little bit more than what probably if I did a little bit more research, I would have paid a little bit less, but it was in pretty good condition and it was from a company called Brand off in Hong Kong. So it was like my first eBay bag. Okay, I've never bought anything from eBay, and yeah, it's quite an experience and it's quite a thrill as well. So anyway, I am interested in looking for a Chanel vintage bag. It's just that I think I need to be more hardworking in the research and also know what I want. At the moment, I'm not looking out for one, but I do see a vintage bag in my future collection. As for the Fendi Montresor bag, to me, I think it's a little bit too similar. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but for me, in my eyes, I feel like it's a little bit too similar to my mini palm strings backpack. They just give me the same kind of small mini bag vibe, though they are totally different bags, but I just feel like in my collection, I don't need two pretty similar bags in the sense that they're mini bags. So I would not buy it for me. The other reason is also because if I'm not mistaken as well, it doesn't have a zip closure. So it is an open style bucket little tiny bag. And I'm really paranoid with my stuff being pickpocketed. So I always like to look for bags with the option of a zip or a flap closure. I try not to go for open style bags nowadays. I don't know. With my traveling and I have to put my bag under the seat of an airplane, my stuff rolls out and all that problem, so I'd rather not have the hassle. Mini Pleasure 68. Hi Kat, do you ever think a woman will reach Perce peace sometime in her life? If so, is there a certain age maybe? Oh, this is a really good question, and your question got seconded quite a few times. Personally, I don't think there's a standard age for Perce piece. I know some people who are very young and they are happy with what they have, and I know people who are much older than me and they're still hunting for the next bag. So I think Perce piece, in my definition, is really happy with your collection, and it can be at any age, and it's just the fact that whatever you have in your collection now serves a purpose for what you want the bag to do for you, whether it's travel or work or going out or dinners or dates and all. And the collection that you have it satisfies what you need, and you don't feel like you need to look for anything else. I find that that's a kind of like a state of mind. So there's always new bags, there's always new fashion items, and I believe you will reach Perce peace once you look out at new things, and you kind of like, yeah, I don't really want it. That kind of feeling I don't know, I think it's once you get that, it's almost like you're at Perce piece, because there will always be new things to come at you and be like, oh, that'd be nice if I could add it to my collection and all that. But even though you take a step back and go like, maybe not, you know, it's not really, I've already got something like it, or you know, it's too fashionable and I don't need it. So I think those moments, if you take a step back and you kind of reassess, oh, I'm thinking of that, actually you have already reached Perce piece. It's just that maybe from peer pressure and you being, you know, maybe the environment that you're in, you could be very stressed, you could be very sad, that could force you to think, oh, I want something to pick me up. So I think Perce piece happens at any point in time, and I also think that you can be at Perce piece if you just take a step back and look at what you have. It could also be only just 2 bags or even 1 bag and go like, yeah, actually it suits everything that I need. And there is no urge to run out and get another bag. Or even if there's that urge, but you go like, if you take a step back from that moment, sometimes you realize that urge can be pressed. So, Chong Ming Chong, how often will you use your Birkin? Are you confident to use it in Kuala Lumpur, KL, as there are many snatching cases, Sai? Okay, I don't use my Birkin very often. I mentioned it in my Would I Buy It Again video for my Birkin bags. I actually don't use it so much, mainly because the size at the moment is a bit too big for me. I don't carry so many things for work, and I look at that bag more of as a work bag. And it's not that I travel for holidays a lot, so I don't really reach for the bag, though it's not that I'm gonna sell it, it's just that I just don't reach for it a lot at the moment. As we're using it in Kuala Lumpur or in you know, KL, to be perfectly honest, I don't use it at all. It's because that I am quite paranoid. Not to say that I'm paranoid of getting snatched or what. I'm more of being watched and I don't know, I don't want to draw attention to myself, whether it's from other people who are looking at my bag or, you know, unwanted attention as well. I just don't want that. I don't know, I feel more confident and safe and less judged when I use the bag in Singapore. I don't know why. I just feel that way. It could be just a personal thing, and it doesn't mean that I think you know, badly of Kuala Lumpur. I love it. It's just that, I don't know, it's a very personal feeling that I have using the bag here. I don't know, I guess in Singapore it's really common to have somebody walking down the street using a Birkin, but in Malaysia there are times I do see, but it's really rare. Okay, it's really rare. So because of that, I don't really want to draw the attention of myself. Okay, my life affair. Is there any difference with the essay attitude in between branded stores in Singapore and Malaysia? What's your personal experience? And you also asked me if I'm more comfortable shopping in Malaysia or Singapore. The first question, I have had really good experiences shopping in Malaysia and really good experiences shopping in Singapore, and I've also had really bad experiences shopping in Malaysia and Singapore. Whatever branded store, I don't think it's the brand per se. I think it's the person per se. It's the sales associate or the client advisor, whatever you call them nowadays. They are the problem. So they can be really nice, and some of them are naturally really nice, but some of them can be pretty nasty as well. So I don't think it's so much of the brand. I do think that it's quite individual. So I always take the stand that if they are not treating you nice, walk away and go to another SA, another client associate, client advisor. You don't have to stick with the same person just because they know your name and you want to be treated badly. I don't think that's necessary, and don't let that one bad experience, you know, affect your entire experience with that brand, because I think it's really individual. The client person, I mean that sales associate, maybe is having a bad day or is just being grumpy, or you know, naturally is a real pain. So yeah, just move on to another person. You know, it's their loss. They lost you as a client or a customer. But if you know you do find a good one, I always try to stick with the same person, even if you don't spend a lot with them. You know, if you make the effort to make sure you eventually buy something with them. I think that is also a good thing. Don't go and flutter around for no reason. Try and stick to one, and I think they will also appreciate it. As for your other question, if I'm more comfortable to shop in Singapore or Malaysia, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I am more comfortable to shop in Singapore. Amanda Aoyong, why did you sell your Kelly? Okay, so if you haven't watched my Would I Buy It Again for my Hermes bags, I will link it up here and in the description box below. I shared why I sold my Kelly. The reason I sold my Kelly is because of the size. It was a size 32 and it was way too big for my body frame. When I wore it as a crossbody bag, it was way too huge. The other problem that I had with it was the color. I have come to realize that I am not a bright colored bag person. I am more neutral, I am more black, grays, I'm pretty boring. I would pick maybe a more fun color, but I think those reds are a bit much for me, so I prefer to go for the more subtle colors. That's another reason why I sold it. Can I know how to sell a bag? You also asked if I like Chanel or Hermes more. Okay, so I actually sell my bags on my closet, on my Instagram. I'll leave the handle right here, you can check it out. I also use another platform which is specifically for Singapore, which is called the Lux Mall. So I sometimes put my bags there, but recently I haven't been selling a lot of my bags, so I don't use that platform very much, but I do use my Instagram when I want to post a bag or an item that I want to sell. So I find that pretty useful. As for whether I like Chanel or Hermes more, I like both brands, okay? I feel like Chanel is so beautiful. Every season they come up with such innovative, such inspiring fashion items, so it's really nice to just watch the fashion show and just get inspired by the beauty of everything. I don't really watch Hermes's fashion shows. I find them, yeah, they're nothing spectacular. Some of the clothes are really beautiful, but I don't know, there's something about Chanel's fashion shows that you go like, wow, the setting. Sometimes it's a ship, sometimes it's a pyramid, sometimes it's a forest. It's just so beautiful. So I love both of the brands. Hermes because I like the fact that they are so classy. Chanel as well, but Chanel is a little bit more, I don't know, spunky, fun as well. So yeah, I love both of the brands. Daria Berlian, hi Kat. Do you have any friends, work colleagues, or even family members that give you the side eyes on your obsession about luxury goods, telling you that you are wasting money to branded goods instead of saving more? How do you react to them? Love to hear your answer. Oh, got quite a few seconding this question. Friends, families. I think my luxury obsession, you know, even before YouTube, it's kind of like a hidden secret. Not many people know about it. Only one or two of my good friends kind of know I have this, like, you know, obsession about LV when, you know, during the early days. I was like, oh, check out this LV bag, and I love to look at fashion magazines and all. Of course, my parents would tell me, my mom, like, you're wasting your money, da da da. As a mom would, right? She'll nag in my ear, but I'm like, out. My colleagues, I guess I've trained them. I've trained them to, you know, just, you know, ignore my obsession with branded bags. I actually train them, you know, I'm like, you know, this bag is how amazing, how great, and they'll be like just rolling their eyes. But I also think I'm pretty lucky because I work with a lot of guys. I don't work with a lot of females, so I don't know if the guys know how expensive some of the bags are. I think they do, but they're like, oh, another nut girl in the office looking at a handbag. So I have been pretty fortunate. I don't actually have like jealous stares and all. I think personally as a person, I am not walking around shoving the bag in their faces. I'm like, check out my handbag. I carry it, you know, just because it makes me happy. I'm not out there to be like, no, you know, take a look at my gorgeous bag. You know, I don't do that. I don't shove it in front of their faces. You know, I don't make them feel uncomfortable, or I don't do that. So I haven't had any experiences with people, but I am very mindful of it. Like, I don't go out, you know, if you know certain friends don't use these things, I don't bring the bag out, you know what I mean? So I am cautious about that. If I go for a wedding, then I would use my nice bags. I'll dress up nicely as will everyone else. And if I go for, like, say, like a gathering and I know none of my friends are going to be carrying any, you know, luxury bags, I will bring my luxury bags because I know my friends, right? And if I know some of them are also into luxury bags, then I'll be like, yes, let's bring out the bag. But yeah, so I guess I monitor the environment. Like I said earlier, I'm very fortunate. I haven't had anybody say like, oh, what is an expensive bag? If people come up at me or come at me and say things like, you know, oh, why you waste that money? Don't you think you should save it better? And they give me a kind of, you know, attitude. I would answer back as well. I would probably say things like, yeah, you know, I don't really know how to save. And I'll just shut them off because that's what they're kind of expecting you to say, instead of, oh yeah lah, you know, I'm not really sure. Don't apologize for your spending. I don't think that's it's not your fault. You know, don't let them make you feel like it's your fault for spending the money. So admit it, but you could be like, yeah, you know, I don't really know how to save money. It's okay. I'll live off rice, you know, something like that. Never apologize for your spending, and never apologize for doing the things that you love. If you love buying bags and you're responsible at it, go right ahead. If they come at you being all, you know, all high and mighty, like you should be saving your money and all, you know, say, yeah, no, I put money aside and this is just my spare cash. Aha! Will you try a Cantonese video? Oh my goodness, my Cantonese is awful, okay? I can understand when people talk to me, but it comes out like yetta, yetta, you know. If I were to explain, if this was a bag, I'd be like, 你睇下呢個荷包啊，真係好靚，佢個皮膚啊係好滑，好smooth 啊，好佢個 corner 啊，真係冇爛過。I don't think it'll work. Jen LYJ, hi Kat, now that you have the love bracelet, what are your thoughts on it and how do you find the sizing? So this question, I actually already done a Cartier love bracelet review, and I'll link it up here and in the description box you can check it out. So I have shared my thoughts about this love bracelet that I'm wearing. I know, just share, if you're not going to watch it, I love this bracelet, but there are a little few things like it gets scratched a lot. So I do encourage you to watch the video because I share a little bit more on it. Naughty girl, hi Kat, do you buy pre-loved bags? And if yes, where do you usually get them from? So my Hermes bags are pre-loved. I bought them from Instagram resellers. If you want to know, you can PM message me. I also bought my LV bag from my recent LV bag, which is the Neo Speedy. I got that from eBay, which was the first time for me, so I'm not really an eBay expert. You should go and watch people like Jerusha, June, and all. They are much better with the second-hand buying. But yes, I do buy pre-loved. Jean Connie, even though we all love luxury goodies, do you honestly think that these things are a waste of money? At the end of the day, nobody cares whether we are carrying a $50 bag or a $5,000 bag. Hihi. Plus, sometimes we can't even sell these expensive things at a good price. Second question, how many bags do you think will be enough for you? This is a really good question. And I think it all boils down to how that item makes you feel. It's almost the same as buying a drugstore from the Watson or Guardian lipstick, or a like a Tesco lipstick, and buying something like from Christian Louboutin or Chanel. It's how it makes us feel. And if we can afford it, you know, if we're buying it responsibly, I don't think there's anything wrong with buying that really expensive lipstick compared to buying something that gives you the exact same color. It's just how it makes you feel. It makes me feel happy when I'm carrying my expensive bag because I know I worked really hard for it. I've sacrificed working away from my family. I've sacrificed, being away from my loved ones, and that's personally for me, so that I have funds that I can save, and so I have extra funds now for me to buy frivolous things. So I'm happy, and I think there's nothing wrong with it. And I know you can't sell it for the same price that you bought it. For most other things, you will, get a little bit of loss or quite a bit of loss. But I think if you have enjoyed that item and you have spent enough time with it, you have brought it out, used it, loved it, take that loss as your rental of purchase. That's how I think of it. It's like, if I bought a bag, let's say for $5,000, and I've used it for a solid good 2 years, or kind of like, you know, on and off for 2 years. And then I decide, you know what, I want to sell it, and I sell it for, let's say, $3,500. So I took a loss of $1,500. Then I'll think, well, you know, it's kind of like renting the bag for 2 years, $100 a month. Yeah, that's all right, as long as I know I have used the bag. Now, if I know that I haven't used the bag, obviously that was a bad purchase. And I'm like, okay, lesson learned, expensive lesson learned. But yeah, I don't, you know, think too much about, you know, such a loss. As long as I know I'm going to use that bag and really enjoy it, then it's more of me, you know, changing my style. So I don't think there's anything wrong. Don't ever let anybody make you think there's anything wrong unless you're spending irresponsibly. Then we need to talk, okay? How many bags do you think will be good enough for me? Oh goodness, I don't know. That's a really tough question. I'll just throw a number, 10. I think 10 is a good number. I like the number 10. Maybe 12. Yeah, 12. Let's make it 12. Naughty girl, you got another question. Hi Kat, do you have one brand which is your one true love? The one brand that makes you weak in the knees every time you enter the boutique. Mine is LV. I thought about this question and I was, you know, juggling between LV and Chanel. These two brands, to me, every time I go in the store, I'm very fascinated. I will go in, I'm like, wow, so many new things, huh? I smell the perfumes, that's for LV, I'll smell the perfumes, I look at the jewelry, I'm like, nice. And I always find something nice to look at. For Chanel, it's always beautiful. Everything is just so gorgeous to look at. The most of the boutiques are bright and lit, you know. It's just, I don't know, there's just an aura in the boutiques. So between the two, I think I'm gonna go with LV, just because I have such, I don't know, I have such connection to it because it is my first luxury brand. And every time I walk in there, I don't know, I feel comfortable. That's one thing. Every time I go in there, I feel comfortable. I feel like, yeah, I can afford things in here. You know, there are things that I will like. Not everything, you know. In the past few years, LV's new collections that coming out hasn't really like, you know, made me flip over and do a, you know, spin and all that. It hasn't. But, you know, it's nice to see certain things that they come up with. You know, I like to look at the jewelry. I like to look at the luggages. I like to look at the shoes. But Chanel gives me, sometimes when I walk in, I don't feel like walking in because the vibe in the Chanel is more high-end, and I sometimes feel like I can't afford a lot of things in there, so I do feel a little bit intimidated. So for me, my one true love brand is still LV. My life affair. Kat, have you ever thought of getting Hermes Birkin or Kelly from the SG boutique or in Paris? Resellers are selling way above the SG retail prices and even the pre-loved ones. Do you feel hard to swallow the price to buy pre-loved B&K, especially the brand new ones, is not, if not more? What's your thoughts? I would love, okay, I would love to get one from the store, but I do not have a relationship with any Hermes really sales associate in Singapore. I haven't built any relationship with them. They don't know I exist. I have not actually stepped into a boutique in Singapore to buy anything. The bag, my Lindy, I bought from Singapore store, but I bought it from the Terminal 1 boutique. So I understand that the Hermes in the boutiques in the terminal are different from the ones in the retail stores, let's say in Ion Orchard and all that. So yeah, I don't actually have a record with them, but of course I would love to buy one from the store. It would be a dream come true. Being called, you say, hey, we got a Birkin for you. I'll be like, kill me right now. I can't take the stress or the excitement. Fiza Nor, hi Kat, is there any self-goal that you are working towards? Something that you would like to achieve? The main one is that for the next 10 years, I want to make sure I work really hard, save loads of money so that we have a comfortable war chest for myself and my husband, so and that we can have, you know, a comfortable life when we're older. So that is I guess, a very big goal that I want to achieve for us. And I don't think of my goal, I don't have a self goal. I don't have one for me and myself. I think of my goal as more of a family goal. So it's mainly for me and my husband, and you know, just thinking of that kind of future where we have together, it's only the two of us. So yeah, I have that as a goal. But if you ask me right now, like an immediate goal, I don't really have anything because, you know, I live day to day. Li Shu Hua, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Did you carry the luxury bag around for work or traveling or going out? Did anybody stare at your bag? And if you put the bag outside, do you hold it tightly? Funny question, right? I noticed ladies put their luxury bags on their lap when eating or having coffee at cafes. Okay, so I do carry my luxury bags when I go for work and I'm traveling. When I'm traveling, I also depends on where I'm traveling, right? I don't be like, you know, traveling to some really dangerous place and I'll be carrying my LV like sticking here. No, I won't do that. That's just not safe. When I do bring them out, I do notice people stare. Not so much in Singapore, more in Malaysia, so I don't tend to carry my bags out much in Malaysia, but I do carry my bags in Singapore more often. And yeah, I do hold my bags pretty tightly. I like to, you know, make sure I squish it under my armpit. I'm like walking like this, or even in cafes where you know, I don't put my bags in the next seat. I put them on my lap, unless I know it's a very secured place that nobody's going to, you know, run and snatch my bag. Then I'll put it on the seat beside me. Even if I do that, I would, you know, how do you say, let's say if it's a crossbody bag, the strap of the bag, I will put that strap on my lap. So the bag's there, but it's kind of like connected to me. So if anything, I can just hold on to the strap. Yeah, it's something that I'm paranoid. I'm one of those ladies. I would keep my bags quite close to me. I'll, you know, squash it under my leg or something. So yeah. I still got another 12 questions, and I see some of the questions are pretty long, so I'm gonna actually make this into a two-part Q&A because I have to rush to get a haircut right now. So I'm gonna cut this into part 1, and then for everyone else who haven't heard their questions answered, that will be part 2, and I'll try and film it tonight and hopefully edit the two so that they can go up together, so each video won't be too long. So anyway, I will see you in part 2. Bye!